Today we are going to talk about how can you connect GA4 to BigQuery. We are going to show you the exact step-by-step process of how you can do this and what are the most common mistakes that I see people make and how can you avoid them. Before we are going to talk a little bit about how BigQuery works so that you can find your data once everything is working as expected. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So as you can see guys, I try to make this as simple as possible to kind of grasp how BigQuery is organized on a very high level. You've got a project. You can think of a project as some sort of a container or a bucket that will contain datasets. For example, we have a GA4 dataset. You can have a Google Ads dataset or any other kind of data source which is organized in what we call dataset. Dataset is just like a group of tables. We see that to the third level. So in GA4, for example, you have a table for events, a table for users, a table for real-time event processing, etc. So that's how BigQuery is organized. Of course, there is more to it, but that's what you need to know for now and to get started with the linking process. In the next section, we are going to show you how to create your BigQuery account. The first step you need to take is to have a Google Cloud account. The process is very simple. It's like creating your own Gmail account, for example. So I will leave a link in the description so that you can go ahead and create the account. Once you are in this interface, you need to create what we call a project. As we explained earlier, a project is like a bucket where all your datasets and information will be gathered. Once the project is created, the next step is to enable the BigQuery API. This API will allow us to connect GA4 to BigQuery. Let's go ahead and select API and services. You can as well use this section in the menu to access the API and click in here. You need to go to this section and search for BigQuery API. You just need to click on enable and your API is now working. Now we need to do the actual linking, which is done in the GA4 interface. You need to scroll down all the way to the bottom, and here we have the BigQuery links. Click on link, and we need to choose a project. I have a lot of projects here, but this is the recent one I created. So when you open this panel, just make sure you select the actual project you created. Click on confirm. And now this important step, which is creating the data location, just make sure to select a location that is close to where you are located. So if you are in the EU, you can select the EU here. The next step is the configuration settings. Here we will choose what kind of data we want to see in BigQuery. So we are going to start with the first option, which is the advertising identifiers for mobile app. So if you have an app and your app is send the data to GA4 via a data stream, you can check this option. I usually check it just in case. For the export type, below you have the daily and the streaming export. So the daily export basically is at the end of each day you will have data of that specific day in BigQuery. All your data for that given day will be shipped to BigQuery. And the streaming export is really the real-time or almost real-time data export. So when you get hits to GA4, this data will be sent to BigQuery immediately. You need to check both. If you feel like you do not need the streaming export, this will incur some extra costs. You can leave this unchecked, but I highly recommend having this data. You may never know when you need to do some kind of monitoring on real time. In this case, you will need the stream and export. The user data is also important. Here you will have another table in BigQuery with the user's data. So I check it as well. Click on next and you are almost done here. You can click on submit. And as you can see, the link is created. We reached the end of this video. By now you have a working GA4 BigQuery link. If you have any questions or something does not work as expected, feel free to contact me using the first link in the description. And to get updates, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel.